In terms of the exports in the short run that I think will be the key, it would be tourism, education, and what I call health and medical, including the professional technical components of the health and medical industries. If I looked at the international student industry, in Australia we have two of the nominated top 4 cities in the world favoured for international education. In fact, the top 4 are Melbourne, New York, London and Sydney. Now, we are very good at international education. In fact, we deliver more international education per capita than any country in the world already. The issue that we're moving into now is that we have capacity constraints, and we have capacity constraints not only in terms of the size of the universities and the quality of academia, we have capacity constraints in relation to student housing and the support services that actually go with this. From an Australian perspective, international education is the 3rd largest export in Australia now, and we are forecasting, or I'm forecasting in my book, the level of international education will increase by around 70% in the next 10 years, provided, again, we can provide capacity in those industries. This will mean that we will need to import educators. We will need to build new buildings, new campuses. We will need new methods of planning for international students. Another great example in Australia is that we have no detailed spatial planning for our educational institutions. They just grow. Why would that be? Why wouldn't we be working through doubling the size of the sector and working through where the sector should be? So we need to move from campus planning to serious city planning and precinct planning to build on the initial strengths that we've got. So international education, tourism, and in health and medical, Australia's professional and scientific services are amongst the world's best. And so, for example, in relation to hearing, Australia is the world leader in relation to hearing aids. If we looked at blood, CSL is the #1 provider of blood in the world. We are already doing this. And what we're beginning to see now are internationals coming for what I call retail services, which are operations and medical advice. And I can see in the next 10 years that Australia will be of absolutely international significance. And one of the reasons for that is that our health system itself, the structure, the institutional framework we've got, is probably the best institutional framework. It's better than the National Health Scheme in England, and it's certainly better than any scheme in the US. Obamacare is a good example of that. So what we have on our hands is something that we can provide international service for. Again, there is no spatial planning around a hospital. Anybody that's ever tried to get a car park around a hospital will tell you that there is no prospect of even a car park. We spend hours in hospitals. Other than the Royal Women's, which is one of the projects I've worked on, there is no significant retail. There's no significant opportunity to be able to move in and out and see your loved one on a 3 or 4 hour basis. You need to sit in the room. There's no thinking through about how it is people might get close, how you might be able to stay close. Of course, there's odd examples, but this should be integrated planning and integrated thinking, and we haven't begun yet. So I'm excited because I see great growth potential, but I'm also excited because I think we can turbocharge that growth by really smart planning and design.